Hello and welcome! Today we're in the Tier 7 Japanese destroyer, the Yuudachi-poi is here, and she is still subject to change, and I really hope that she is going to change, because my opinion of this ship is terrible. I don't think she's very good. Yes, she was buffed, but I don't think that buff was anywhere near enough. Her torpedo concealment went from 2.5 kilometers to 1.9 kilometers, so it went from terrible to bad. Yeah, I don't think that's enough, especially because the torpedoes are 57 knot speed, they have 15 kilometer range, and they deal 17k damage. And now they have 1.9 kilometer concealment range. That sounds like a pretty significant buff. Except the problem is that if you look at other torpedo destroyers at the same tier, or other destroyers at the same tier, or other torpedoes at the same tier, you'll find that, for example, Myoko and Shiratsu that have the same torpedoes, their torpedoes are 10 kilometer range, 62 knots, they deal 17k damage, and they have 1.6 kilometer concealment. So let's say you take torpedo acceleration on Yuudachi, you end up with 12 kilometer torpedo range, 62 knot speed, 17k damage, and 1.9 kilometer concealment on the torpedoes. Shiratsu, on the other hand, has 1.6 kilometer concealment, the same 62 knots, the same 17k damage, and yeah, she has 2 kilometer less range, but I would actually think that 2 kilometer range makes up for the 300 meter concealment difference, because it's much more difficult to dodge the Shiratsu torpedoes, or rather, I probably should say, it's much easier to dodge Yuudachi torpedoes, because I don't really think it's very difficult to dodge even Shiratsu torps, because there are even better torpedoes at these kinds of tiers. And let's be honest, torpedo destroyers aren't exactly amazing in the first place, because you can see right now I'm trying to chase that Britannia with torpedoes, and that I'm finding it very difficult to do anything to her because she's sailing away. It's not like I don't have enough torpedo range, I do, but just random movement just makes the torpedoes completely miss. And there's, in my opinion, not that much I can do about it. And this is a rather inherent flaw in all the torpedo destroyers. And it's not like criticism like, hey, why don't you just sail closer works much, because I'm at 6.2 kilometers from the Britannia. How much closer am I gonna go? My concealment is only 5.7 kilometers. So I don't think that works either. In fact, I think I'm gonna have to slow down a bit, just not to get too close to that Britannia. Other than that, Yuudachi is very similar to other Japanese destroyers in this tier line, like Shiratsu for example. In gunfire power, she has about 70k HE DPM. She has good HE alpha, but her DPM isn't exactly great because there are tier 5 DDs that have higher HE DPM. And she isn't exactly fast, 35.7 knots with a speed boost, with a speed flag, and 38.5 with the speed boost and speed flag. But she definitely can fight some destroyers, especially at this tier, because often, you know, when you just suddenly appear with your 5.7 concealment, that's possible. When you suddenly appear, like, near that Jarvis, it can catch her off guard, and if your guns aren't on point, you can probably win the gunfight before the Jarvis can do too much to you. I'm gonna smoke right now, fire a salvo on the Jarvis, then if she disappears again I can just shoot the Omaha instead until the Jarvis is gone, because hey, you know, an Omaha is still an easy target. She might be a cruiser, but her armor is basically non-existent. And the biggest problem actually with Yuudachi, that other Japanese destroyers at the same tier share, is the lack of anti-air. Yuudachi has 2 kilometer anti-air aura, which does absolutely nothing at all. And this is a big issue at this tier because CVs are going to be everywhere. The reason why you see a non-CV game is because basically all the CV games I had were ruined by the CV at some point. Like one game, I started the game, CV flew over me, I took 5k damage from that first rocket salvo, and not much I could do about it. But now we're gonna fight this Jarvis, and like I mentioned, her guns are pointed elsewhere, so I'm gonna get in like 2 or 3 free salvos, and that first one dealing 3k damage is pretty indicative of what's gonna happen to this Jarvis. She has 4.5k HP, I have 15k HP. I don't think you're gonna win, Jarvis. I'm sorry. You might be a robot, but or a super smart AI, but nah, not gonna work. And I still haven't hit the torpedo on the Britannia. But at least I'll be able to win this gunfight. One thing she does have is good maneuverability, and this allows you to dodge torpedoes like these, which is pretty good. Her torp reload is, I think, 90 seconds, meaning that it's not exactly amazing either, but it's a quad launcher, so it kind of makes sense. And yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, the only really thing that she has going for her is supposed to be the torpedoes, but all the torpedoes really bring is range, and it comes at a price, meaning that I don't think that the ship is very good, so I really hope that she is subject to change and is going to be changed, because as she is, I wouldn't recommend her. And she doesn't exactly have great HP either. It's good, but not great. 13.2k base HP? Okay, maybe it's not good, it's okay. 13.2k base HP, 15.65k with survivability expert. But then you think about the fact that you have ships like Z39 at the same tier, which have something like 18 or 19,000 HP or something insane like that. We're literally talking 50% more. So compared to her, she is not good at all in the HP department. But I think I'm finally gonna be able to hit some torpedoes, because it seems I have arrived at the promised land where the battleships are sailing in reverse and showing me broadside, so I might be able to hit torpedoes, but you're always gonna be at risk of not being able to hit any of our torpedoes when you're a torpedo destroyer, because even if you get close, it's entirely possible random movements by the battleships or any ship you're targeting, especially when they're moving away, make it very difficult for you to hit them. When they're coming closer, it's a lot easier, but you can't guarantee that happening. I'm gonna get spotted by this Britannia on purpose, so that she starts sailing towards me, because she can't really turn out at this moment. She would risk way too much, and she would also show broadside to like the Fuso on my team. So she's definitely gonna turn in to some degree. And I'm gonna hope that she sails towards my smoke, and I will be able to torpedo her then, when she gets close enough. Well, those torpedoes got close, but not quite close enough. You know, initially when Shiratsu was released, I figured that Yuudachi was going to be released soon after, and she would basically be like a copy of the released Shiratsu. She was really good back then, by the way, but nerfs on the Shiratsu kinda made her, in my opinion, not very good. But if she had been a copy, she could have basically stayed like Minakaze or the Kamikaze and whatnot are for the Minakaze, which saved basically the original loadout for the ship, so to say, where she played exactly like Minakaze used to, the Kamikazes used to. And I figured that Yuudachi would be like Shiratsu in that case. And I think she would have been very popular, and people would have liked her, because Shiratsu back then was pretty fun. Now, I don't know, I don't like her too much. But I finally hit torpedoes on the Britannia, and I sank her. I think I'm gonna drop these torpedoes on the Nagato as I use speed boost to run away from the Giulio Cesare. I think it would make a lot of sense. Come on. Yeah, I think those are... Unless Nagato turns, which she very well might be, because ships have been turning quite a bit, she might actually get hit. But now I'm gonna wait a little bit, and then I think I'm gonna just YOLO the Giulio Cesare, because we pretty much won the game. And I'm still at 35k damage. I want to deal some more damage. I want to hit some torpedoes. So I'm just gonna turn around. I have speed boost, so I'm just gonna go closer. I'm gonna take the risk that my torpedoes aren't reloaded yet. This is a bad idea most of the time, because if she like fires HE at me, for example, even a secondary that hits my torpedo launcher that breaks them, then there's not much I can do, because my torpedo launcher will then be broken, and if I damak on, it'll go on full reload again. That would be really frustrating. But luckily I think one of the torp launchers is gonna be fine, so I'll be okay. Oh, I hit 2 torps on the Nagato. Very nice. Now she's gonna try to juke me, but the question is, She's slowing down, whether she's gonna accelerate or keep slowing down. I'm just gonna... I'm gonna expect she's gonna slow down, so I don't just fire the tarps in front of her. But unfortunately she's sped up, so some of my tarps are gonna miss. But I'll try to fire the second set. 0 seconds, come on, come on, come on. I still got the tarps off. Excellent. Goodbye, Julio. Well, I would say that was a worthy trade. Sure, it's a tier 7 DD for a tier 5 battleship, but it's not like I would have been able to do anything in the rest of the match anyway. Other than cap, I suppose. Because, well, these torpedoes aren't... They can't exactly teleport across the map, okay, to hit this Nagato, and it's not like my ship could have done that either. So I would say that I'm gonna be happy with the result I got. But the big problem with the ship is that, the same as all the other Japanese destroyers, or especially the mid-tier torpedo destroyers, the anti-air is non-existent. And non-existent anti-air means that, let's say, a CB flies over you, she drops you smoke, she drops a fighter on top of the smoke, and when you leave the smoke, the fighter spots you. Your anti-air can't shoot it down because you don't have any. Anti-air, I mean. And it's a big issue in my opinion, and then rocket planes come in and just ruin your day. I know this, for example, I was playing the Midway, sure I know, tier 10 and different, but I actually managed to launch a fighter or a rocket plane squadron at the start of the game, and I managed to deal something like 10,000 damage to a Shimakaze in the first 2 drops. Why do I say the first 2 drops? Because the 3rd drop detonated her and did 8k damage. She probably wouldn't have died if I hadn't got the detonation, but she would have gone down to like 2 or 3k HP. And that was the rocket planes from the first, you know, launch of the planes. If you don't take survivability expert on Yuudachi, something similar can happen to you by a, let's say, tier 8 CV. And there's not that much you can do to defend against it. And outside of that, spotting also kinda ruins you, because you can't really torpedo people if people know exactly where you are. But I'm kinda happy about this result. 98k damage, 3 ships sunk. Sure, it's a tier 5 to 7 game, 1529 base XP. Considering I got more than that Z39 by almost 50%, I'm gonna be happy about this, especially since nobody else got above 1000 XP. Base XP, I mean. And here you can see the damage. I launched a lot of torpedoes. I mean, I launched 52 torpedoes and only hit 8 of them. And I was getting close to those ships. I'm not gonna be able to get that close when CVs are around. But this time I did, and I managed to deal some damage. And yeah, I hope she gets buffed or changed in some way. Because this is, in my opinion, just inferior to the Shiratsuyu. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support, Holadian, and I hope I'll see you guys next time.